Hey there, this is Peyton here with Profit Daylight, and on this video I want to continue talking about settings inside of Elementor. In this case, we're going to cover some of the settings in the page builder itself. And just before we continue, if the content of these videos are informative, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I'll greatly appreciate that, or subscribe to my channel. I'll continue posting more and more videos about Elementor. So in the previous video, we were talking about the settings, let's say like the backend settings of Elementor. We covered what were under general, style, and advanced, and integration also. With the free version, with the pro version, there is an integration tab. But in this case, we want to cover some other settings inside of Elementor. So let me just go ahead and create a new post and show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to create a new post and edit it with Elementor. And when I get the interface, it's actually going to load on the right side of Page Builder. Now, the Page Builder is going to have a series of things. It's going to have a header. In this case, I have my dogs here, or the logo of the Wolf and Perps dog and dogs. And actually, I have a menu inside my header, home, who we are, service, get in touch, and I have a download app button there. That is all inside the header. If I scroll down, I also have a footer with some buttons and social buttons, phone numbers, and menu. I also have like legal information like copyright and all of that. And I could also have a sidebar here on the left or on the right. So that is what we're going to get on inside the page builder, but we want to talk about some of the settings here on the left. So we're going to start by going to this, looking at these two. It says elements and global. So by going to elements is where we'll obviously get all the elements that I will then drag inside the page builder. And by going to global, on this case, since I have free version of Elementor, I am not going to get the option of adding any global widget. But if I have the paid version of Elementor, then it will come up differently. So let's go ahead and double check that. I have a pro version of Elementor on another website, which I'm loading right now. And I'm going to edit it with Elementor. And let's see what comes up under the global settings when everything loads. So I come to the hamburger and no, I'm sorry, here. So I had elements and then I have global on this one, which is a free version. It's telling me meet our global widget. And with this feature, you can save a widget as global, then add it to multiple areas. All areas will be editable from one single place. Go Pro, well, definitely I'm not going to upgrade to Pro on this one yet, but if I come over to my other website where I have the Pro version, I go to Global, and I don't have any widget set up, but I can create my first widget. So those are the two tabs on the top that we want to see first. Then obviously, coming back over to elements, I have the different elements that I can insert here. If you notice, I have some drop downs, basic, pro, and if you recall, I had installed essential add-ons, which is a plugin that adds more elements. So those are under essential add-ons and so on, so on. So I will have all the elements here on the left. Now, let's see other things here. The hamburger menu. The hamburger menu is where I will get other settings. I believe in the previous video, I did talk about some settings that were under. Let me just see if I go outside here and exit, show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if I come here to settings and I look under style, this one does have it most likely because it's a paid version. Let me just come out here. I should have duplicated the page, but no problem. So Elementor settings style. So it says that these settings that shall be under this tab it's located under the hamburger menu that we covered on the previous video. Somewhere you can see it up here on the previous video. So that is what it's talking about here when I point to the hamburger menu. So let me just go ahead and load up another page with Elementor and go back to the hamburger menu. Those are the settings that can be changed. I'm going to cover that on the next on another video, but I just wanted to talk about the settings that you'll find underneath the hamburger menu: site settings, team builder, user preferences, finder, view page, and exit to dashboard. So I'm just going to hit the arrow there to come back here, and I'm going to explain a little bit. Let me just come back over to elements. I should have done that before. So under elements, I can, let's say for example, I just want to add an intersection, and inside that intersection, as I have taught on previous videos, when I touch the elements or the sections, it does tell me on the left what it's all about. So by touching the section above, it says edit intersection, but inside the intersection, I have another intersection. Inside the intersection, I do have another intersection, and that section doesn't have any elements right now. So let me just go ahead and add some elements here. And I'm going to add a heading inside the intersection, and I'm going to add an image just to explain the properties that we will get here on the top. So for the image, let me just go ahead and choose an image. I'm going to choose this young lady here, and I put insert. And for the title, okay, so let me just go explaining what the options are. So these, again, this is underneath the elements tab. These are elements. Whenever you touch the element or the columns or the segment, it will tell you up here on the top left corner. So for example, for this, let's say I want to edit this column here, it's going to tell me edit column, and whatever I do inside this column, in the layout or the style or the advanced will affect the whole column. For example, under the vertical align, I believe I can tell it to be in the middle, so the title will go in the middle, and you know, the style, I can put whatever color I want here. So let me just go ahead and select a color. That's color number 1, and I can also come and select a different color. So that's basically, just move this over here. Whatever looks better for you. I'm just playing up with the options here. And then I can obviously change my title, and I can put smiling girl. And I can obviously also put that, if I touch the element, I'm going to get some properties: content, style, or advanced. So those are the 3 properties that I will usually get for any of the elements. I am going to center this title. There's the size. Let me see here. Yep, here, alignment. I come to center, and I can also edit this other column and change the colors. I'm not going to go into details on all of this. Let me just put a black background here. Something more or less like that. That's for the first color, and second color, let me just put maybe yellow. All right, so basically those are the properties that you'll get for each element inside of Elementor. We'll continue to cover that. And that's what you'll get under elements. Now, let's cover other things here. I can come over to the settings, to this gear on the lower left corner, and I can put a title for my post. My title right now is Elementor numeral 1675, I can obviously change that and put this is a new post. I can publish that article right away if I want, or I can keep it drive. I can put some excerpt that's actually a feature that is used in SEO, or to describe on a blog, to describe in a couple of lines what that post is all about. We can put a feature image to the post, which means that when you have it on a blog, the first thing that the person will see will be that image that you have here. It doesn't have to be this image. It can be another image that's called featured image. You can hide a title. In this case, let me just hide a title. I just selected yes to hide a title or no. And you have other options here under this settings. It says page layout, default, Elementor Bezel Width. In this case, it's set on default, but if I wanted to eliminate some of the space around, I can just do Elementor Canvas, and it will give me a blank window that I can work on. It will give me a blank window. It has eliminated the header, and in this case, it continues with the footer. I have found out that inside the Pro version of Elementor, I can do that better. So in the Pro version, I can have a completely blank window so that I can create whatever I want. Let me just prove that to you. I'm going over to the Pro version of Elementor, and I will come to the settings down here, and I will tell it to be Elementor Canvas. I will select it for Elementor Canvas, and it completely eliminates the header, the footer, the sidebar. It eliminates absolutely everything. That's one of the cool features. Or I can just select edit full width. I believe it's going to bring up something. Yep, it's going to bring up the header and the footer, but it's going to give me full width. It's not going to have the sidebar, or I can just leave it as the default, and the default will obviously have the sidebar and the header and the footer. But if I wanted, as I said, to have full control of completely white page so that I can create whatever I want, then I will select Elementor Canvas here. No header, no footer, no sidebar. I see that option in Elementor Pro. I did select it here on the basic version, Elementor Canvas, but it still comes up here with my footer. So let me just cover other options here. I believe I did talk about the hamburger menu, which will just bring you back to the options where you have the elements and the global widget if you have the Pro version. Now, coming back here under these settings on the bottom, I did cover this one a while ago. Let me just come to this one, Navigator. So what the Navigator is all about is going to bring up this menu. I really don't use it. I just rather to navigate internally, but this will bring up, if you open it, you know, some people will probably prefer to use it. I don't use it that much, but it's useful if I want to see which elements are inside my page builder. So heading is going to go to the heading, column is going to go to one of the columns. I have another column here, is going to select another column, and if I enter other options here, let me see if I can enter a button here. I'm going to enter a button under smiling girl, and I'm going to enter a video under that button. So all of that is going to be added under the Navigator. Let me close this out again. Just going to close everything here. I'm closing, and closing. So if I wanted to have a little more, and probably I don't use it because I already know how to use Elementor. Maybe if you get started and you see so many elements here, you might want to come to this Navigator by touching this icon here on the lower left corner, and it will help you to understand what it is you have inside your page builder. So you can open up each section. For example, it tells you there is a section. Inside that section, there's a column. Inside that column, there is an intersection. Where is the intersection? That's it. Let me just move this window here. Let me just come back to the default so I can see it better. So I'm going to select page layout default. This gives me a little more space on the top so I can demonstrate that it will tell you where you at. Just bring this down a little bit. So again, I have a section. Inside a section, I have a column. Inside a column, I have an intersection. Inside an intersection, I have a column, another column. Inside this column, I don't have anything. Inside this other column, I do have an image, and so on and so on. So let's say if I wanted to know where is that intersection, I'm wondering where is this intersection? I touch this, and it's going to take me where the intersection is. If I wanted to know which are the columns, I touch wherever I want, and it's just going to put a frame around that. So that's the Navigator. It works pretty good, you know, if you don't know what you're doing. In this case, by the time you get more and more acquainted with Elementor, you will be able to know, you know, I have this intersection, I have this button here, and I have this other element. So you can decide whether or not to use it. Now, this other option here is the history. Let me just go ahead and delete everything I have here. I'm going to delete everything I had here, and I'm going to come over to the history, and the history is going to tell me what are the things that I have done. So if I accidentally remove something, I can just quickly come back here to the history and just undo it. It's going to bring back, you know, what was done. If I prefer, for example, to remove the video and the button, which were the last things I added, I can come and undo it. Video added, I can undo. Or what I will probably do is just go back to one of the elements that did not have that, and it will eliminate it for me. Just trying to get that done here. Let me just come back here to history. I think it removed the video, so I can just continue to touch. I can continue to touch the elements, and it will actually give me a history of the elements, and I can do or undo some of those elements. I also have revisions here. I'm probably going a little too fast for it. I also have revisions here. If I wanted, I could check on the previous revisions I had. In this case, I don't have any revisions. Now, this other icon here, responsive mode, is going to tell me how my work is going to look on desktop, which means a big screen, or on a tablet, or on a mobile. And I can obviously edit it here so that it can look properly on any one of those three devices. We'll cover that a little later. And preview changes. This is how my site is going to look. If I touch that, it's going to open up on a different page, and it is exactly how my site will be looking. So if I want my site to look like that, or my page or my work to look like that, then, you know, I will not change anything. If I want any changes, I will definitely come back here and maybe modify the color of this column here by going to style, and just probably changing that to red. And maybe this title, I can come here and change the text color to perhaps to something like that, so blue. Okay, and the button, I can also change that to something. I can, instead of saying click here, I can come over to content, which is you know, basically what that element says. Instead of click here, I can say start, for example, start, and I can come back over to preview changes, and it's going to change whatever I have. So those are basically the settings I wanted to show you. We covered the back end settings on a previous video, and now we covered some of the other settings inside of the page builder. And that's all there is to it on this video. If you like the content that I'm posting, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will greatly appreciate that. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Until then, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.